Welcome to another Grime basketball podcast. I'm your host, as always, David Sagoe, here right now, running another three-man games, 2 weeks in a row. We changed that, made a substitution. Substituted Jose for Michael Downey. And still running with my shooter on the left, Thomas Arnal.
We had a brutal session on Saturday, which I bricked every single shot. But the man you subbed that was on fire. Just the Argentinian Tim Duncan. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Jeez. Wow, you wouldn't be surprised if he was injured too, right?
Yeah,
the way things are going these playoffs.
Anyway, hi.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we start there? Like, this is really crazy, right? It's not just me, right? Like, Harden, they say, is coming back for Game 5 tonight, which should be good. But Kyrie went down in the last game. Trae Young's holding his shoulder or icing his shoulder during the game, Game 4. Embiid is obviously struggling with his meniscus.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell tweaked his ankle. Was it ankle or knee? Ankle,
I think. Yeah.
Danny Green. I mean, the Sixers are 0-1 without him in the playoffs right now and struggling.
Leonard last night tweaked his ankle. His knee.
Kawhi tweaked his knee last night.
Kyrie? Did we say Kyrie?
Kyrie,
yeah. This is bad.
What about the Bucks? Do they have anyone on the Bucks that's missing? Connaughton, yeah.
Guys, I messed up.
Big name.
Oh gosh, yeah, hit in the face. DiVincenzo is missing for the rest of the playoffs, starting two guards.
Was that did you do that in the playoffs or was that just before?
I can't remember exactly whether it was. Yeah, it was something like that anyway. It was right at the start. But he's going to be a big miss. Yeah. It's just, they're just dropping. They're dropping left, right, and center, dropping like flies. And the congested season, the compressed season is just biting us in the butt every single step of the way, it seems. But the Phoenix Suns have made it through to the Western Conference Finals. Only the second time Chris Paul's made it out of the second round. And they could face his old team, the Los Angeles Clippers, or the Utah Jazz. So I actually had the Jazz Clippers matchup in the other half. I did not have the Suns making the Western Conference Finals. If it were my Lakers. Well, Tom should have, in my opinion. I don't think the Nuggets are going anywhere without a backcourt.
The only one that you went against the actual final seeding.
Yeah. So we have Jazz Clippers over there. I asked the question, who do you think the Suns would rather play? I had the Clippers making it out. If you're watching on YouTube, that's probably a goal from France. Spoilers if you've got this recorded, if you've got the game recorded and we're planning to listen to us and then watch the game.
Yeah. Sorry, anyway.
But much appreciated. Yeah, I had the Clippers making it out. I don't even know who they would rather face. Like, the Clippers, obviously, as I said last week, I think are a little bit more versatile. They can go big, they can go small, either with or without Zubac, or play Morris at center. That could potentially play Ayton off the floor, although he's pretty good on the perimeter. He's not a slow big. He's quite mobile.
He's very mobile.
And I'm not sure who they would really go to as a small ball five over there. So it's kind of similar to the Jazz, who the Clippers are playing now. I don't know, the versatility of defenders on the wing, although the Clippers haven't really defended great all playoffs.
That's the thing, right? It's all good in theory. That's right.
Yeah. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah. I mean, for me, you look at sort of. I look at the Jazz, and I think that it would be a really difficult matchup because the stuff that Chris Paul is getting right now on Jokic, like Gobert is not gonna. I mean, I know he struggles if you stretch him out, but he's so much longer than everybody else. Like you can't get that little sort of elbow shot that he's been doing. That's not gonna fly. But then you've got Booker. Like who's gonna be guarding Booker? Can they contain him? I think that would be a challenge. But yeah, Ayton as well. Like Ayton against Gobert. So it's a toss up. It's a toss up. But the way that it's going with the Clippers, like you can't trust them for anything. You don't know what
but they might make it. They could win the series.
They could win it all. I wouldn't be that surprised.
Yeah.
But like on a game by game, like I have no idea who's going to turn up.
Yeah, I mean Reggie Jackson's been shooting the hell out of the ball.
Well, if I think if you're the Suns, you'll look at who's the best team in the West. Allegedly, it's the Jazz, right? And then the Jazz will also have home court advantage. Not sure if that's really a thing this season. It seems to be like like we say, defense wins titles. I think this year is like home court doesn't do shit, and defense doesn't play a part.
Well, the Clippers, their home court is everybody else's home court. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Suck it home.
But that said, I mean, again, that's what I said last week. The Clippers barely made it out of the Mavericks round. The one man band. They had to go 7 for that, and then they were down to 2-0 against the Jazz. Injuries played their part, and Mitchell got banged up, and so now it's back to 2 apiece. And they had to rely on monster games from Kawhi and Paul George to make it. It wasn't even that close, I think, in Game 4. Right? I don't think it was number 18 or something. No. So it wasn't really that close in that game. But again, it looks like for the Clippers to do anything, they need like tiny miracles from like every 2 games. Like they go bad for a game or 2, and then suddenly they go, oh yeah, basketball, that's what we're doing. And then they realize Kawhi's there.
Yeah.
The other thing about that is they've also had miracles against them, right? Like Dallas was shooting like crazy the first 2 games, especially game 2. And then I think I actually heard on the ESPN podcast that the 2 best shooting games were against Dallas in game 2 of each of these series. The 2 best shooting games in the playoffs. So they've had like opponents go crazy against them and have unsustainable shooting nights, and that's been part of the reason why they've been in a 2-0 hole. And then I think game 3 they had the 3rd best shooting game, so it swung both ways.
True.
But the fact that they've had a few against them, and like as we've been saying, they should be great perimeter defenders. Is this a sort of is it actually form? Is it something that they're doing that's not working, and that's why that's happening? Or are people just confident against them at the moment?
It's one of those things. I mean, when it's that high of a percentage, luck is definitely involved, right? Like teams get hot sometimes.
But you know how it feels like about with the Clippers though, because you at the start of the season, you have the Clippers. They're again this big team. They've made a few changes. They've adjusted. They're supposed to be this almost what the Nets are to the East, which is like, oh my God, this monster of a team. Like on paper, you got Kawhi, you got Paul George, you've got a bunch of other good. No, Ibaka was supposed to actually add Ibaka to the injury list. It was supposed to be also like somebody that would bring some points inside and defense and all that good stuff. And you could argue that they were the equivalent of the Nets on the West, and like, oh, you don't want to play them really, but because at times they're so bad. At times they're just like they can't play basketball. Simple as that. And it's now known, like you can take them on, you can beat them, you can get them by 20, 25 easy if they are absolutely off. Like if you take Kawhi out of the game, you can easily win a bunch of games against them. So it's not the same thing that I don't know, they don't feel invincible anymore. Like, when they started putting those big names together last year, you're like, oh God, scary. But I don't think that mental edge is there for the Clippers. Like, that's what I'm saying, is that they can have good games, they can have great games, they can have absolutely atrocious. And again, Mike said it well. It's like they're so inconsistent. You don't know what team's going to show up, and that could be a good thing also for them. It's unpredictable. If it goes your way, that's great.
If you're the Suns, who do you want? Do you roll the West, dice against the unpredictable Clippers, or
you want the West team?
You go against more. Ooh, see, I don't know. I feel like I don't know. With Conley's health in question, with Mitchell's health in question, I feel like I would go for the Jazz personally, because when they're missing like a couple of pieces, their depth just seems to fall off a cliff. Right? Like they bring Joe Ingles off the bench. They bring Jordan Clarkson off the bench. Favors is their backup big, who's been getting absolutely abused in this series.
Yes.
That dunk was ridiculous. And there's that guy Oni, and then Niang, and that's about it, right? But those last two names I named, like, if those are the first names off your bench because a Conley and a Mitchell are injured, all of a sudden that team looks like paper thin, and they're ripe for exploiting whenever the starters are on the bench.
If Mitchell's injured, they don't have it. Like they don't have the offensive ability to beat anyone, I would say, in the playoffs. To be honest with you, he's really crucial to the offense. So if he's not looking 100% in the next game, then you're probably sort of saying, I'd rather play them. That would suck. I never wanted to sort of lean towards that being the outcome, right?
Yeah. I think I'd go that way as well. I always just want to dodge the talent. I always want to dodge the talent. Sometimes the better team beats you, but for me, if you can avoid going up against the best players in the league, then you do.
I mean, I get you, but I think if everybody was fit, if Conley and Mitchell were both fit, I think I would rather play the Clippers, because I just don't think they've got it figured out. There was I've forgotten who put it up. It might have been Kevin O'Connor put up on a graphic on Twitter where it had like the minutes of all of the Clippers players, like put out in sort of a graphic, and it's all over the place. It is absolutely all over the place. Like Cousins was playing the other day. I think he played like 15 minutes or something. After not playing in any game before that, and you're just like, what? Do you know what you're doing? What's going on here? Because he hasn't played again. It's like Rondo's in and out. Like it's, I mean,
well, you know who the coach is, right?
I don't know. So who?
Yeah, it's Lou. Lou coaches like he doesn't know what his best team is, but I wonder if
I think he doesn't know what he's doing.
I think he knows. Yeah, because the team that started the last two games is his best team, right? It's Batum, Morris, George, Kawhi. I can't even remember who starts at point. Jackson. Is it Beverly or Jackson? Jackson starts.
I think Beverly was.
I think it's Jackson anyway. Either way, Jackson's the better player right now. So yeah, I think that's their best five. And I don't know if he purposely ran those guys out there, knowing that they probably wouldn't give positive minutes, just because the last series went to 7. And he kind of wanted to mix in some in-game rest to go with the rest that they get between games, honestly. I'm curious if that's why. I don't think he genuinely thought like Cousins is the answer in this game, type of thing.
It's just a weird one, man. But like I don't know. I felt before, and Ibaka's injury sort of helped push this along. but it felt like he was reluctant to go to the small ball starting lineup. It depends. If he settled on that, and I would agree, then that is probably the best team, because Zubac is such a liability on the defensive end. He will get sort of hunted out, especially by somebody like Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. So you guys say if healthy Jazz, I lean Clippers.
No, I'm saying Clippers. I'm saying Clippers, but
sorry. Yeah. Same. Yeah. So I had it the wrong way around. Sorry. You guys lean Clippers for the Suns to play. That the Suns would rather play the Clippers in the next round. I lean Jazz a little bit. So who do you actually have coming out of the series? We've talked about it a little bit. We know we don't know who's injured, but we know who might be injured.
Yeah.
What effects would that have? Like, I really hope we don't get a Mitchell-less, Conley-less, Kawhi-less Game 5.
Yeah.
Because that's just the worst advert for the West ever. But hey, Paul George, go crazy.
I mean, dude, I had the Jazz in 7, so I don't know. I'm gonna stick to that. I'm gonna stick to my Jazz in 7 prediction. It's going that way. It looks like.
You gotta root for your picks, man. You gotta root for your picks.
Backing my own decision from last 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. Yeah, sticking with it.
When you hadn't seen any playoff games.
Exactly. But who's leading?
I refuse to learn.
Who's top? Who is top?
I mean, even just with Conley going down, I think that's quite a big miss for the Jazz, and I feel like Kawhi is kind of turning a corner. If he's injured, then it might be a different thing, but peak Kawhi is a problem. I don't think anybody can deal with him. So I'm going to stick with my original pick as well. I'll stick with the Clippers.
Did you have games, Michael?
I imagine I did. I can't remember what they are. I haven't looked it up. But I feel like this one's going to 7 for sure.
Okay. I had Clippers in 6. Obviously, if I've been leapfrog, damn it. Obviously, if that's going to happen a lot as the Lakers get further and further away from the championship. I'm reluctant to stick. I feel like it's going 7. The only way Clippers win in 6, I think, is if Mitchell can't go. I'll tweak mine to Clippers in 7.
It'd have to be 4 in a row for Clippers to win in 6.
Nah, just 2 in a row from today. You only look at the future. Yeah, you take that pressure off yourself. I can tell you what you had, Mike. You had Clippers in 6.
Wow. Okay. Slightly revising your prediction there.
Just slightly.
It's tough one.
Cool. So if we head over to, we've spoken about the West and that's it. If we head over to the East, we have the Sixers now tied 2-2 with the Hawks. Going back to Philly for Game 5. As we said, Embiid is still carrying his meniscus injury. He missed all 12 of his shots in the fourth quarter last night.
Yeah.
He was like 20% for the whole game as well. It's not a good luck.
Oof. And they kept going to him still. That's crazy. Missed all 12, including a really important layup that would have, I think, tied the game late. The Hawks were able to erase an 18-point deficit and tie up the series 2-2, headed back to Philly. This is just a crazy one. Like, Embiid was really killing them. Like, really, really killing them. he was like ragdolling Clint Capella at times. And then we've seen that if he isn't on his job, if he isn't on his game, then the Hawks have a chance. And he wasn't. And also, Tybal didn't shoot the ball well. I think Seth Curry and Tobias Harris were good through 3 quarters, but because they went to Embiid so much, they kind of nullified that threat. And the Hawks were able to claw their way back in. We're also missing DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah.
Another injury. Was this game an anomaly? And will Philly get back on track? Or was there anything that Philadelphia should be concerned about, Mike, as the voice of Philadelphia? Ring the bell.
Ding, ding.
The voice of Philly. I mean, I still think we will win it. Definitely, I definitely feel that, and like it does rest on Embiid quite heavily. If he's missing because his injury is causing him more problems, that's going to be a big problem. But I think if he's sort of functioning at 80% or whatever he was in the previous games, it's a done deal. I think him missing that many shots is not normal. And as he said, we were still up 18 in the third quarter as well, I believe. We shouldn't be collapsing like that. I don't know what's going on there. Again, Simmons needs to score more. Like if we're replacing Danny Green with Tybal, I love what Tybal brings or Thybal, I think it's Thybal, right? Love what he brings to the game, but it does leave you quite exposed offensively, like with 2 guys that aren't great shooters. The final shot from us by Seth Curry, like it was obviously going to go to him because we needed a 3. And the Hawks swarmed him. And he's not Steph, like he's pretty good, but he's not Steph.
He's really good. I love what he does.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
What a great trade, Josh Richardson for him. The Maury ball right there. Anyway, I mean, Trae Young is absolutely legit. He didn't have a great shooting game either. Yeah, but comes with 25 and 18 assists.
He's the youngest player ever to have 18 assists in the playoffs. He beat Spud Webb's record by 12 days, and they're the only 2 players in NBA history to have 18 assists before their 23rd birthday.
That's nuts. Didn't know that.
That's some NBA stats right there.
Yeah, with the cake.
About 12
that days. Cake, that Trae cake.
But yeah, he's been great. Bogdanovic as well. Big game player. He's shown that he can sort of step up and hit some really important shots. But we're set up to stop guards, right? We should be all right with that. And I'm not that worried about sort of what Clint Capella and John Collins can sort of really, really bring. I think we've got. I don't think they can take over, and Embiid, if he's sort of functional, should be able to stop them sort of enough.
Just talking about stats, I was just looking at the game stat. It's just you just wonder how the Sixers lost that one, because it's like Sixers shot 44%, Hawks 36, 3 points 41% to 30. Hawks shot 43s. They only make 12. Free throws is 71-81, but okay, fine. It's two apart. And then in rebounds, Sixers got 55 and Hawks 49. So it's pretty even, but again, that's, I use my number of assists is the same, blocks the same. The only main difference is the Sixers didn't take care of the ball. They have 12 turnovers to 4 for the Hawks. So that's a massive difference there. And
4
then
turnovers.
It's insane. That's
for an entire team.
Yeah.
Westbrook has that in the first quarter.
Just for his stat padding, just want to give me those turnovers. But if you look at that, it's like 12 turnovers is where you expect from a team, right? It's like between 10 and 12. So that's a good number already. But as you say, oh, you should take care of the ball, but actually not really. They have taken care of the ball, but it's just 4. It's just an absolutely insane number in comparison. And then you look at the actual stats from the players. It's like it's a game of starting fives. Like both starting fives, every single member of the starting fives scored over 10 points. And the rest, the bench is between 0 and 9 points for the Hawks and between 2 and 8 for the Sixers. Like the benches are almost non-existent, or they don't really matter. If you're just looking at the stats, right? No.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up actually, because one of the things that sort of turned the series in the Sixers' favor was Tobias Harris coming back to play with the bench unit sooner, because they have the Sixers have a problem whereby if you want to stagger Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, it means that Simmons is playing with Dwight Howard. And again, like you just said, Mike, having 2 players on the floor that can't hit an outside shot, let alone a 3, is just not good enough for modern day offense, right?
And so they have the line as well.
And struggle from the line, absolutely. So you have this like messed up situation where the offense just goes in an absolute hole whenever Embiid is off the floor. So they bring back Tobias Harris, who is actually playing as the second option on offense because Simmons has become so limited against playoff defenses. I think that's a problem. Like that's part of the reason why I don't believe that Simmons and Embiid can win a championship unless they have Porzingis as the backup center.
Sorry.
No, I mean, I think we can. I think we can this year. To be honest with you, the way that it's shaking out at the moment, I think we could this year. But it's offensively like we have a great defense. So like I don't know if you saw the all defensive teams that came out today, I think, or yesterday. But we had like 3 guys in there. Which is great, but it's just the balance. It's just the balance is not quite there. I mean, they tried starting Korkmaz last night. I think maybe if he'd been on the court for the final shot, it gives you more options as well.
Yeah.
So I think they'll play around with that a bit more. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just think you need more shooting. If you've got those guys around, like you're saying, Dave, like you've got to surround all of them with just 3-point gunners.
Yeah. And then I know Danny Green's out now, but part of the issue was also that he's gone cold from 3 in the playoffs. Not for the first time, but if you have him available, you and firing, not necessarily at like 45% as he's been at his best, but if he's making threes, it just changes the dynamic of that team, right? If
it stretches the defense. It's like even when he's not shooting that great, he's still going to be respected by the defense, right?
Yeah, and that's what you need. You need.
Ben, take note.
Ben. Looking at you, Ben.
Yeah. And then it's free throws, man. He was 1 for 5 in this game. I don't even think they needed to go to the hacker, but they could have if they needed to.
That's my concern. That's my concern. That like who did we play in the first round?
In the first round, you played Washington. Wizards.
Map.
Wizards.
Yeah, the Wizards. They showed that that's a viable tactic, and the Hawks haven't even used it that much yet.
Yeah.
So that's a concern.
Yeah. They used it a bit, I think, in game. Oh no, that was the Wizards. What am I thinking? I'm sure they used it at some point. Anyway, yeah, that's a worry. That is definitely a worry. He's got to improve. He's got to improve.
Hopefully, an actual, proper, legitimate long off season would help.
Isn't he playing for Team USA in the Olympics? Team Australia in the Olympics?
I believe he was part of the selection. Yeah. But I just don't understand. I mean, I think we've had that discussion before. But like, why can't he? I mean, I know that coaches got on his case too. Yeah, no, about Ben Simmons shooting, about how he could use the freaking regular season to just chuck up a bunch of shots. Like, I don't understand.
Can't do it.
He's young.
He has a mental block.
He's still establishing himself. I think that he's got a new coach. He's sort of like he's had a lot of questions asked about him. I think he's kind of gone into more. These are my strengths. I'm going to maximize those,
which is fine,
rather than try and do something new. Which, okay, he's got to do it, man.
But again, it's what we say every year. It's like, how often can you run the same stuff and expect different results, right? If it's not work up until now, like surely there's one. If it doesn't work out, then like do it for the first month or two of the season. See what that gets you. Like chuck up a bunch of shots. Like just start shooting threes. If it doesn't fall, keep shooting, and then if it still doesn't fall halfway through the season, just stop. Go back to what you're doing maybe, or shoot less threes. I don't know, but like mix it up a little bit. See where it gets you. There's nothing to lose. There's everything to gain.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I say. But he has said he doesn't want to shoot poorly from three, and doesn't want the embarrassment of shooting air balls and shit like that. He wants to be a good 3-point shooter from the time he starts shooting threes.
But he's becoming an embarrassment for not taking threes. That's the thing. Embarrassment is maybe not the right word, but you know what I mean? Like he's becoming questionable.
I know what you
because
mean,
of not shooting threes, right?
Yeah, he's hurting the team.
In the long run, he's hurting himself and the team. Yeah.
Yep. But hey, this is it. He's in the dunker spot, and Embiid has said, I'm going to shoot more mid-ranges and threes to compensate for Ben.
This is the madness. This is how mad this has become. Your center is taking more threes. Your point guard is relying on the center to take more threes. This is how mental this is.
I mean, I would say that like if we can't get past the Hawks,
blow it up.
I mean, it being a perimeter guy that is leading their offense and dominating games, then you're like, well, what good is your biggest strength if you can't stop this guy?
Exactly. Yeah. What's Simon's contract? Has he just signed something? I can't remember what it was. His contract like.
He did. I think he signed a big
just
extension.
Signed, right? Yeah. I think he started the rookie extension. He missed his first 5 years in the league anyway.
5 years, 177 million. Damn.
Bucks. Yeah. So.
What do you guys have? I told you one.
Predictions, man.
I've got Sixers in 6.
I had Sixers in 5, so that's gone. So I'm gonna Sixers in 6 now. I'm joining you with your 6 and 6.
Do they take the next 2 games? Is this Embiid problem real? I mean, even with the Embiid poor shooting, which isn't going to happen again, it was still, a 3-point game or something like that at the end?
It's a 3-point game, yeah.
So, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'll take this as an aberration, and I go Sixers in 6 as well. But
wow, we all agree.
They have a lot to worry about. They have a lot to worry about. And then the last series, which I thought would be the best series, and man, has it disappointed me on so many levels. I don't know
why. Yeah, okay. I think there was this series got hyped up unnecessarily.
You think? They had some great regular season games.
I don't know what's going on, but I'm agreeing with Mike on everything tonight.
Oh no. It's not a good look for me.
So hey, I'm leading. I'm top of the prediction board. Okay, you could do worse.
I don't see you here, Tom. It's weird.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm on my own. Yeah, I just shout out to the Nets fans on Twitter. It's just funny to see the meltdowns after every single loss. It's just funny. I can taste the salt. Oh, the salt.
But yeah, no, I thought this was going to be great. They played three really exciting, like three of the best regular season games this season. All of them were close. Like all of them came down to like clutch possessions, not necessarily the last possession, but like came down to the last couple of minutes. Not one team won every game, which is always good. And then you had the big three up against the Bucks three, and then it became the big two up against the Bucks three, and now it's the big one up against the Bucks three, and it's gone from the Bucks being really disappointing, considering that the Nets were missing a Harden and getting wrecked, to the Bucks winning 2 in a row and now looking like they're going to win the series because the Nets are down to the big one. And in the beginning, I was disappointed that the Bucks didn't put up more of a fight, and now I'm disappointed that they might just run away with this thing because of injuries. And either way, I'm disappointed. Just disappointed. I don't get to see my great series. I don't get to see great players against great players. It's just disappointing. It's flat.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. I think my thing was the regular season stuff with them. I said it at the time. I think that wasn't the Nets as they were going to be in the playoffs. Like the Nets that we saw against Celtic, even in the first game without Harden. That's what we're dealing with. They are a huge problem. Like, they're a massive problem, especially now that Griffin has like found the fountain of youth, pissed off all of Detroit.
Well, exactly. Well,
he actually warmed up before these games. Did some stretches.
Found a can of bothered.
A can of bothered.
Decided to join. But but still, like it's another like really solid player that you're just chucking in there, right? So yeah, it's disappointing because we've got an ex MVP that's not playing now, and an ex Finals MVP that's not playing now.
Nothing.
Yeah, that sucks. It sucks. You should be seeing the best of the best go through, not people go through by default, essentially. And I don't know. I feel like the Nets have still got a chance. Apparently, Harden is close to coming back too. So,
well, he's questionable, which is as good as saying
he's been upgraded to doubtful.
Yes.
Is that the direction that goes
your
in?
hierarchy? You got to know your hierarchy.
Yeah. Questionable. Yeah, that's as good as it gets.
But it's not over in the next game. So even if he misses this one, he could be back for game 6.
I think. I think if he misses this one, he'll be back for 6 for sure. But they said he's going to try and play in game 5. The only thing that would stop him is if he has a setback in warm-ups. So yeah,
that's being super risky. Yeah. That's very risky again.
How long has he been out for? A little over a week?
More than that, isn't it? 10 days.
The series started weekend before last. It was on the Saturday, right?
Let's say a week then. God, let's give you a
week and a half. It's what went Tuesday today. So a week and a half, pretty much. So 10 days ish. I don't know. It depends on how severe it was. Like it was tightness. He didn't like pull up like AD did. He was just sort of like, I feel uncomfortable, and came out because that was the injury that he had missed time with anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to know with those kinds of injuries. You have to be the player to know how severe it is. But hopefully they're being smart with it, and he's coming back because he's ready to come back, not because he
Down the break
needs to come back and help the team.
I do want to see a KD takeover though. He's just so good. I want to see that just for fun.
Been tough for him with PJ Tucker just putting him in headlocks and wrapping him up and fighting his security guard.
Oh God, the security! Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
Six man.
But unfortunately, one of my predictions happened. Is I was saying before the playoffs is that your big three is composed of three players that notoriously suffer from injuries. Especially in postseason. Then it's like, again, it's happened one more time. It's like,
yeah,
it's so hugely annoying. Like, as much as I don't want the Nets to win it all, because why would I? But it's yeah, like you said, I understand that it's, and again, we argued on this. We talked about it on WhatsApp, and it's like, well, injuries are part of it all. That's how you manage your team and minutes and your bench and all that stuff. But it's annoying in terms of as a not a fan of those teams, but like just as a basketball, as you want to see the best players play those games, and it's a bit, yeah. And again, I don't really agree with this thing saying that they win by default. You still have to, so I always equate it to in football when the team goes down to 10 players. Usually it's a pain in the ass for the team that is still playing with 11 guys, because 10 players sometimes is a lot more dangerous to deal with.
Yeah, well, at least that's something that somebody's done on the pitch during that time. Sure. It's not
injuries can happen during the game, and you have to adapt, right? But again, you have to know how to plan for your, a different game plan and different options for your next game. You show star players out. That shows us.
But this is two like major guys, in one series. Come on, man. You got you can game plan.
Hey, the Nets signed absolutely everyone and their mums. So it's like they have a bench. It's like they can't. And I know,
and one guy is retired mid-season.
Yeah. And Dinwiddie's out with injury as well. We forget him like he's not part of his roster.
Yeah.
But they still have enough good players to do. And like, who can you honestly tell me that you've been impressed by the Bucks? Like,
I don't think they do.
I'm never impressed with the Bucks, man.
I never. No, but it's like you've seen like game 4 they were okay. Like I thought they did what they had to do, which is like defend well. They didn't play like amazing on offense, but like at least on the defensive end they were there. And they got into KD's face, and that's what you have to do. Like that's the game plan, And like,
I think this is part of it though. I don't feel like they've played well enough that they deserve to go through. All right, like I think
exactly.
Sure. Against Miami, yes, they did their job. Miami weren't that great though, to be honest with you. But fair play on doing it and getting through. And then they got waxed in the first two games of this. Like it was like a no contest. So I think that plays into it a bit as well. Like it's not a case of you've stepped up to match the challenge that the Nets brought. It's kind of like, okay, all right,
which fell down below your level. And that's the other thing. Like game 4, sure they won it going away in the end, but it was like night and day if you look at what happened before Kyrie got injured and what happened after he got injured. Before he got injured, they were up, 11 points, the Nets, in Milwaukee, and they were playing well. Like, who knows if that doesn't turn it into another blowout? Obviously, we will never know, but I just, like you said, Mike, I don't think the Bucks have played well. I don't think they've played well enough to deserve to go through in the series. And if they if they don't blow them out of the water tonight, well, it depends on if Harden plays and if Harden's good. Yeah. But if Harden doesn't play and they don't blow them out of the water, I'm gonna be so pissed off with the Bucks. Like, what more do you need to go your way for you to get a win? Like, if Harden comes back, then fair enough. We're back to a competitive series, or it should be a competitive series. But if Harden comes back and they get blown out, again, I'm going to be pissed off.
Well, I mean, we'll see, because I mean, the Nets not being able to play very well when Harry went down. Now they've got time to actually game plan. They know what the situation is going to be. They know who they've got present. I don't know what happened, because Griffin didn't come back into the game either. I don't know if he was
really?
like sort of yeah, I think so.
I didn't even hear about that.
Unless I was just half asleep. But I don't think
you're right. I don't think Griffin came back.
Know if he's, yeah, I don't know if he was sort of nursing an injury, or possibly they were just like, okay, let's just get to the next game 100%.
Get the old man on ice.
But yeah, it was a bit weird. It was a bit, because I don't think anything was said about it. He just didn't play. So we'll see, is what I'm saying. Like, Durant, Griffin, what's his face, Harris. He shot quite badly. He is great at shooting though. So I think those three still present an issue. They're not a walkover. So I wouldn't hand it over yet.
And that's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. It's like you don't have Harden, you don't have Curry, but like the rest of the guys you have on that roster, they're not like.
But they're not
players.
Who are
the
other two?
They're facing Giannis, Middleton, and freaking Drew Holiday.
Yeah,
that's a mismatch.
You still have all the guys.
That's a mismatch.
It's still fine. It's fine anyway. I got Bucks and 6. That'll happen. It was cool.
Watch Harden come back and torch them.
Oh god!
Man.
I just thought of Harden lifting the trophy.
They can put Drew Holiday on him. Oh. See, I low-key want, like, that might be my next favorite thing to happen in these playoffs.
What?
Obviously, with the Lakers not being able to win, it might be Harden winning over ring.
Oh no!
For the Clippers, man. Fuck Chris Paul.
Oh.
I've rooted against him.
You have. You've changed.
It really makes a difference, man.
Well, you've got to add some spice.
But Kyrie went down playing with LeBron and then playing for the Clippers. The Celtics. It was a bit like,
You've got to spice it up for the playoffs.
Stomped on Lucky's face. Ooh, it gave me chills.
Oh god, no! The vision of Harden with the trophy. No.
You'll have to eat all your words again. See what happens.
You're just saying they're going to get through the Sixers as well? I'm sorry.
No, I don't want to. That's the thing. They still have to go through the Sixers.
Yeah, they're going to have real trouble with the Hawks in the next series. Yeah, this is another tough one to predict. It's that time though, so screw it. Harden comes back, does the business. Nets in 6. I'm sticking to my prediction. Sorry, UK Bucks.
Yeah, I should definitely apologize.
Yeah.
No, I think even if Harden comes back, he's not going to be. I feel like he probably won't be 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say he does come back for 6 and 7. Nets in 7.
Mm.
Yeah.
Fine.
I can't trust Giannis in the playoffs, basically, or Middleton for that matter.
I'm sticking with my Bucks in 6 because I don't want Harden to go anywhere past the second round. Oh, stop that.
You know, you're choosing what you think is going to happen, not what you want to happen.
What I think is going to happen is Bucks in 6, and what I wish would happen is Bucks in 6. So sticking with
Speak it into existence.
yes,
Never lost.
never lost. I'm the LeVar Ball of the podcast.
It's a great spot to be in, man. I'm jealous. All right, guys. I think that's our last prediction. Let me just run through the bracket challenge. Nice little update here. So currently Jack Kings is stretching his lead with 2,600 points. I'm going to check how many points you have after this. He might have overtaken you.
No, I've got 2,200.
So he's even overtaken you. 2,600 points. UK Bucks has 2,000 points. They probably chose the Bucks though, so that's not going to last.
Wow.
That is a great that's a great page to follow though. They have merch over there. They do a bunch of good stuff. So if you are a Bucks fan or just want to see some Bucks stuff or buy some Bucks stuff, head over there. Can't say the same of the Kings. Sorry. Kings are trash. Then we have Mike and me tied in third place. Followed by three people tied in fifth: Jose, AB from the Clutch Pod, and Q, friend of the show, former guest of the show. And then we have another guest of the show, JDK, bringing up the rear in eighth. His bracket must have fallen apart. I'm gonna take a quick look. He picked Memphis in 7 and Dallas.
Oh, really?
And the Lakers. Lakers to win it all.
Oof.
Miami over the Bucks. Knicks over the Hawks.
Hey, that's a great pick. I agree with that.
Oh man.
Written off.
Yeah.
Didn't pan out.
Rough going. But
how many points has he got? Wait, how many points has he got?
800. Yes. Total.
Fine.
It's not net.
It's not net.
After tax.
That's after tax.
Germany scored.
No, we just hit the
post. Is it 2-1?
Then we hit the post.
Oh,
2-1.
Man. He's hit the beam.
That was offside. It's okay.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, hit the bell, hit like. Leave us a comment. Leave us a comment on the pod. Leave us a review on the pod wherever you're listening or watching. Rate us and do all that good stuff to help us bump up the charts. Spread the word too. There's nothing wrong with some good old-fashioned word of mouth.
Talk to people now that you're allowed out.
Yeah, man.
Tell them about
Go to Central London and talk to people about us.
Yeah. Shouts to our fans in Sweden, obviously the UK, the US, and wherever else you're listening. Germany, Russia.
Those bots in Russia. Come on.
Hey, man. Those are real people. There's someone called Bot in Russia who's like, yeah, get some pod shout out. Yeah, like, share, subscribe, review. We're here and we'll be here. So from me, David Sagoe, from Thomas Arnal.
Hey, bye.
And from Michael Downey.
It's coming home, Tom. Tom. It's coming home.
Coming home. It's coming home.
Oh, God.
All right. Copyright.
Whatever.
All right, we're out of here. I sound just like those guys.